Welcome back to the World Cleanup Day show, coming to you live from Tallinn in beautiful Estonia. There it is now. Look at that. As the drone is flying over the city. It's a beautiful, beautiful day. Nice and crisp day here in the Baltic country of Estonia. And we are checking in with countries right across the world as we are celebrating the World Cleanup Day 2024. Everybody? Woo! Yes! Woo! Oh yeah. Their volunteers have been here for a long time, since 5:30 this morning, some of them. But the spirits are up because the enthusiasm is high for the cause we're all here for, and that is to make the world a greener, a cleaner, and more environmentally beautiful place for all of us to enjoy. And the great thing about checking in with all the countries is that we see the passion, the differences, like when we talk to people from Saudi Arabia, from Australia. But now we are staying at home. And we are staying here in Estonia because cleanups are happening across the country. This is where it all started. And Elikia, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Shout it at me. Elike. No? What am I saying wrong?
Hi, you're not getting Gelike today. Sorry.
Oh, who is this?
It's Eger.
Ah, good to see you. Good to see you. Whereabouts are you and what is that growing out of the back of your head?
I'm actually on a beach in North Tallinn. You see, there's also kids there. They are cleaning up. But it's so windy, so I hide in the bushes here, the flower bushes.
The flower bushes. And tell me, what are they cleaning up today? I know this year we're focusing on marine biolife and marine biodiversity. So what's the focus on this year?
Usually the kids and the schools and teachers with the students, they go outside and they clean all the small litter, cigarette butts, of course, and plastic and stuff like that. Usually in Estonia we have this smaller litter here, but this year we also are focusing on e-cigarettes actually, because vapes in Estonia are a big problem also, like environmental wise.
Yeah, tell me a bit about that problem. When you talk about these disposable e-cigarettes, the vapes, are they being thrown on the ground, most of them here in Estonia, or what's happening to them? And these contain batteries as well, so they have lithium in them.
Yes, they have lithium batteries. Actually, for I think last 2 years, we have found, like during these cleanups, we have found much more vapes also from the nature, even from the sea and everywhere. And so this year we decided to look a little bit closer, and the picture is even more like devastating that that I was thinking, because in Estonia, almost 99% of all the vapes are disposable ones. So they are only one time. People use them for one day and then they throw it away. And only about 10% of those e-cigarettes will go recycling, and 90% of them will be thrown into trash, and they will go to landfills or like for burning. But as you said, they contain lithium batteries. They are actually explosive, and also they contain lithium. So a lot of lithium are just thrown away. And I made these calculations in Estonia. The first half of the year, this year 24, about so many lithium was thrown away that we could use it for 2,000 electric car batteries. So
the amount of lithium that was thrown away and disregarded in these e-cigarettes, if you took all that lithium, it would fill enough for 2,000 car batteries.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's because Estonia is a small place. It's a small amount, but I think almost the same amount in Great Britain is thrown away every week or something. So.
That's incredible. And this is kind of a new phenomenon, isn't it? This is only in recent years we're seeing the problem with the advent of these e-cigarettes.
Yes. It has, I think, last 2-3 years, the disposable vapes have really made it to the market, and people really use them. They don't use these other ones that can be used by, I don't know, for a year, for 2 years. So I think this disposable thing or the one-time usage is the most difficult problem.
And why are they using the disposable ones? Is it because simply they're cheaper? It's just the cheaper option?
No, it's just more convenient, or like people are lazy.
Yeah, you grab it and you can throw it away. You don't have to remember to bring your reusable one, etc., and clean it.
You don't have to charge it and whatever. So I think that's why. And also one thing in Estonia, actually, not only in Estonia, but vapes are used by young people, by students, and by women mostly. So these people who are using the vapes are also maybe not so, they don't know better maybe. And also this, I don't know how to say it in English, but they don't buy the vapes from shops. They get it somewhere from the black market, from some groups in Snapchat or I don't know.
Whoa.
These kind of places, because they are not old enough actually to buy cigarettes.
This is like Watergate. You're about to blow the lid off a massive national scandal here in Estonia. People buying, I can see you laughing, people buying the vapes on the black market. I love it. So you have been picking them up today. You're trying to focus on that. We're almost out of time, but this is where it all started as a National Cleanup Day in Estonia, then grew into the World Cleanup Day in 2018. So what have you been coming across so far on the cleanup, and how's it been going?
I think in Estonia it has been going pretty well. We have been cleaning while World Cleanup Day, it's the 7th year. And when we started, I think it was only 10,000 people in Estonia. They took part in World Cleanup Day. But today it is at least 60,000 Estonians are cleaning this week during World Cleanup Day. And 90% of our people are actually students and young children. They come outside with their teachers, and they make it like a little bit. It's also a teaching method for teachers and also the students to learn about the environment and our impact on the environment. So I calculated again. About 4.5% of Estonians are out on World Cleanup Day.
Well, that is fantastic. Estonia leading the charge, and thank you so much for talking to us, and good luck with the rest of the day. Stay away from those e-cigarettes. Stay away from them. Stay away. In your little, the bush there of all the flowers is beautiful. Well, as we head from Estonia, we are going down south into Africa, because now we're going to turn our attention to Mozambique. And this has been one of the greatest mobilizers, one of the greatest success stories across the continent of Africa. We're going to do a live interview with Mozambique in a moment. But for just now, we want to show you a little video, a taster of what they've been doing. They've been able to get millions of people, 3 million people took part last year in the World Cleanup Day, and the day was even introduced by the nation's president. So that's how seriously they're taking it in Mozambique. If you don't believe me, well then, take a look at this.
Impacta a biodiversidade, degrada os solos e a atenção põe em risco vida e património das pessoas. Temos que intensificar os esforços para educar e sensibilizar as nossas comunidades.
E se nós não mudarmos a nossa atitude, o impacto ambiental será mais grave.
Hoje, mais do que nunca, nos deparamos com a fragilidade humana na conexão com o meio ambiente. E se isso continuar assim, a biodiversidade pode estar à beira de um colapso.
E diversas formas de vida poderão entrar em extinção.
Mas tudo isso pode se reverter se cada um de nós acordar para a vida.
Se cada um de nós acordar para a vida.
E deve ser agora, porque é a hora de mostrar para tudo e todos que o meio ambiente é importante.
O meio ambiente é importante para todos nós.
O Dia Mundial da Limpeza é o maior evento realizado em todo o planeta. E este ano vamos chamar a atenção sobre a preservação de todas as formas de vida e do descarte incorreto do lixo.
Neste Dia Mundial da Limpeza, juntos ou separados, uniremos nossas mãos e vozes para ajudar a melhorar este nosso lindo planeta que nós chamamos de lar.
Vamos criar um mundo sem lixo, onde todas as formas da vida podem prosperar. Dê espaço à vida, dia 20 de setembro em todas as escolas e dia 21 de setembro em todas as ruas, avenidas, municípios e mercados. Dê espaço à vida.
Dia 20 de setembro!
Dia 20 de setembro!
Dia 20 de setembro!
Dia 20 de setembro!
Let's do it live. It is the World Cleanup Day show. That was a little taster of what the situation is like with the World Cleanup Day in Mozambique. And I'm happy to announce that we can now go live to Mozambique in Africa. And Carlos is there now. Carlos, how are you? Can you hear me, my friend?
Nice to meet you. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too, my friend. I think we've a little bit of a tricky connection to you, but we just saw some of the visuals from the incredible cleanup there in Mozambique. You were the head of Let's Do It Mozambique. How has the cleanup been going today so far?
It's going on, actually. We are cleaning in schools since the beginning of the day. Still cleaning because we also have class during afternoon. Our teams are doing our best. It's not normal here. Actually, is election here, you can imagine. So the focus is not, of course, the World Cleanup Day, but elections. But we are doing our best, and I saw many pictures coming from every provinces and cities. Myself, for example, I was in 2 schools this morning, and yes, happy.
Carlos, it's incredible that last year you were able to mobilize around 3 million people in the country. I mean, they're incredible numbers. How did you do it?
Yeah. Mobilizing the schools. And of course, it's important to say we also have a strong network of activists, volunteers, organizations, institutions doing the best at the local level. Do you see? So all the country was mobilized. That's why we reached the numbers. But this year will be different. Less people. It's of course normal. It's election here. It's not the same. Do you see? Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting because you have had in the past great participation and involvement from the government, even the president of Mozambique. But now that they're in an election year, I guess the focus of the politicians of Mozambique is to get re-elected, and maybe the priority is not now to support the World Cleanup Days. Is that kind of the case at the moment?
I think so. Yes. Do you see all the people, all our provincial colleagues from the government and local colleagues, national colleagues from the government are being mobilized for the elections, and but we are doing our best. You see, and the idea is return strongly next year, and of course recuperate our position. No problem.
Now, Carlos, before I let you go, and we watch a little video clip actually, because we've got this incredible clip to show of you in a house made out of glass bottles, recycled glass bottles. So, I mean, that's taking it to the next level. We've heard of glass bottles being used to be recycled and make other glass bottles and other things made of glass, but you built an entire house. The video is in Portuguese, I think, so, but the visuals speak for themselves. But while I still have you here, what is your driving force? Why do you dedicate so much time and energy into this? Because there are so many things you could be doing. Why the passion for this cause, Carlos?
We need to do something. You see, our generation actually, I think, is a little bit lost. But if we educate the children and the young people, we can imagine a better future. And I see really a strong heel coming from the children and from our young volunteers. And we are doing that for them, we see. We need to invest on the future. That's why the idea to build a glass house actually is an eco center. It's a center dedicated for environmental education issues.
That's fantastic. And before we look at this glass house, one final question. I know I keep saying final question, but then I think of other things to ask you. Carlos, you have such passion. It'd be great to talk to you all day. But have you noticed a shift in the mindset of young people in Mozambique with the World Cleanup Day campaign over the years? Have you noticed there being a changing attitude towards waste and litter?
Yes, I'm sure about that. Do you know? When we started some years ago, we had few people, few volunteers, few enthusiastic persons. But now you can see the numbers. A lot of people everywhere. Many of them using the social medias now, doing also some impacts in more people. And a lot of students from different universities and courses, and that is a result. I can guarantee to you to all that the World Cleanup Day, the Let's Do It movement, changed many people here in Mozambique, but also in the world, of course. Yeah.
And final question, Carlos. Where do I get a cool leather jacket like that?
It's cool. You cannot imagine. Actually, tomorrow morning we cannot clean in Maputo area because the storm is coming. We are going to clean up in 28 September instead of 21. Yes, it's cold here. Climate change, man.
Okay, well, listen, climate change, but you still got to look good. And you're looking cool in that leather jacket, my friend.
Thanks.
All the best. We're going to see you now in the glass house. Thank you live, Carlos. Now we're going to pre-recorded Carlos. Again, this is in Portuguese. So if you speak Portuguese, you're in luck, my friend. If not, just look at the pictures you're about to see because you'll get the idea. This is an entire house where the walls have been built by joining together glass bottles. Take a look at this.
Bem-vindos ao Ecocentro, onde está a casa de vidro totalmente feita com garrafas de vidro e o vidro entra na forma de blocos em vidro moído, triturado e também em vidro partido, serve para as fundações. É um exemplo de economia circular. Basicamente, a cooperativa Repensar, que hospeda o Let's Do It Moçambique, através desta casa, ajuda a educar e a sensibilizar o maior número de jovens, crianças, foco nas crianças e nas raparigas, para a mudança, para a necessidade de nós termos de acarinhar o ambiente e mantê-lo sempre, claro, limpo. A casa é, então, um veículo de educação ambiental. Vejam só como é bonito a parede de vidro que ali está. A diversidade de cor, de luz, de formas. A casa é habitável, o nosso staff vive aqui permanentemente e trabalha. Atenção que todo o vidro que aqui está é comprado às comunidades e ajudamos na cadeia de valor e também coletado e apanhado. Quando descartado, atirado para o chão, a casa tem uma árvore, chama-se Maria. A Maria faz parte deste lugar. Não temos que limpar os terrenos, derrubar as árvores, temos que nos adaptar sempre à natureza. Venha connosco, porque também aqui temos outro lugar bonito, a casa de banho. Então a nossa casa de banho é uma referência incrível do que pode ser uma construção ecológica. Já agora, aqui fora, nós temos, além deste lindo chão, O nosso colega está ali a trabalhar. Temos também, e mostro, uma outra componente essencial. Temos aqui um sistema para aproveitar a água de chuva que cai e a casa tem painéis solares, portanto, energia solar. Eu vou agora mostrar uma outra componente importante da nossa casa de vidro, que é a área de trabalho, onde o material que chega das comunidades ou das áreas é aqui separado. É a área de plástico. E os colegas estão a trabalhar na separação por categorias e vai tudo para o mercado. Neste lugar, nós fazemos a educação ambiental através da sala do ambiente das crianças quando não estão na escola, para ajudá-las a reter na educação. Vamos espreitar. A sala do ambiente tem como sua vizinha a sala da inclusão. Neste lugar vai também funcionar o Clube da Rapariga, que está em processo de formação. E nós estamos a organizar o material, os livros que vão sendo doados. Aqui faremos também uma forte componente de apoio às crianças e jovens, especialmente raparigas, na educação. Ensinar a sonhar. Portanto, é um exemplo de economia circular, um exemplo que pretende gerar esperança nos mais pequenos e nas raparigas, um exemplo também do que pode ser replicado noutros lugares do país e, por que não, do mundo. Obrigado a todos.
Carlos, for that lovely tour of the house made of glass. It's a creative way to recycle and use a material again and put it to good use, and wonderful to see the school kids and their singing as well. You're watching the World Cleanup Day show. If you just joined us, it is the 2024 World Cleanup Day happening right now all around the world, and we're checking in with countries and talking to experts and scientists and activists and people who are all joining together to try and tackle the huge problem of waste in the world's ocean. And next we're going to talk to someone who's been a friend of the World Cleanup Day for a number of years now. Get this, it still strikes me every time that we get to chat. She is only 12 years of age. Keep that in mind when you're watching her and listening to her speak. Her name is Fatia Ayat. She is originally from Bangladesh. She was based in New York for a number of years. Now she's back in Bangladesh at the moment. And the other day we got a chance to catch up and talk about why this issue is such a passion of hers. Fatia, great to see you again. How is everything going?
I'm good. I'm really excited. I'm actually back in Bangladesh right now, and I just came like a month ago, so things are going good.
Because the last time we spoke, you were living in New York City, so now you're back in Bangladesh for a while. Yeah. How is everything back home? How's it feel to be back in Bangladesh?
I haven't been in Bangladesh for a while, so it feels good to be around family members and just be back in the moment, I guess.
And for you, when you know, because your passion is environmental issues, when you look at when you were there in New York and now you go Bangladesh, is there an obvious difference when you see the problems when it comes to pollution and environmental issues?
There definitely is. I mean, considering the pollution aspect, in New York, you wouldn't see trash like around in the streets. People would be there to clean it up. Now there's a lot of that. And just that trash or that litter aspect is bringing back, is reminding me of all the pollution that's happening in Bangladesh. So being back in Bangladesh is like being back in the moment, being like seeing and actually experiencing the effects of climate change.
Wow. And Fatia, to remind us, you are 12 years of age, you are an activist, you are passionate about this cause. Let me ask you about what inspired you to get involved in World Cleanup Day at the beginning, and why do you think it is an important global initiative?
Okay, so thank you for your question.
You're welcome.
What inspired me to connect with World Cleanup Day was that I was always aware about the trash that I see on the streets. I was always aware of the litter. And I know it seems insignificant to so many people, but I'm aware and I know that these trash ends up in the ocean and it hurts marine life. And these plastics pollute much of our surroundings. And most people aren't aware of this. And even if they are aware, they aren't making actions or they aren't implementing actions based on this. And I realized that we needed to clean this trash up. And that's how I came across World Cleanup Day and their website. And I was really happy to see that one day every year, annually, people come together from all around the world to clean up our communities. And I think that makes a huge difference because even if it is only one day in a year, it still makes a massive difference because people from all around the world come together. And so I think that mass effect really makes a difference. And so I was really happy when I came across World Cleanup Day, and that's how I was inspired.
And Fatia, why do you think people are not mobilized to take action, as you said? So they know the problem, they see it on TV, they read about it, they can see it in front of them in some cases, as you said in Bangladesh, the rubbish on the street and the pollution. So what is stopping people from taking action into their own hands?
I think the main difference is our thinking individually. I think most people think that, oh, I'm just one person. How will I be able to make a difference? Right. And they don't think about the fact that even one person can make a difference. Because when we all come together, little by little, we can make a difference. And I think that individual aspect is stopping people because they're thinking, oh, what good will I do? Right. So I think that it's that problem, that thinking.
Yeah, they're thinking, well, I'm such a small player in this whole big game that how will I be able to tackle the problem? Especially now this year, since we're focusing on marine life and biodiversity. When you look around the world today, Fatia, what are the biggest challenges in your point of view? What do you think are the most urgent issues that the planet is currently facing? And how should we try and address them?
So some of the biggest issues that I think that the world is currently facing is definitely pollution, deforestation, and the displacement of people due to climate change, right? And this is all happening because of industrialization and the use of unsustainable practices. To address these problems, we need to urge world leaders to make sure that they adapt sustainable practices and adapt these methods such as renewable energy. And at the same time, like I said, we need to urge the citizens, the people as well, to make these changes in their daily life so that they are more eco-friendly and they're more aware of their carbon footprint and the effect that their actions have on climate change. So it's not just the world leaders, it's not just the citizens. Everyone has to come together to make sure that these issues are met, that these issues are solved, and that we can just thrive in this world.
I like that word, thrive. We can all thrive if we all do our bit. Where does this passion come from? Why? How did it develop? Was it something that you read or saw? Was it something that came in an instant, Fatia, or was it something over time that this passion in you just grew?
There's an experience that I've been stating for a while now. So back in 2019, I think I mentioned this in my last interview with you, in my last meeting with you. But back in 2019, me and my parents, we went to Alaska on a cruise ship, right? And we went to see the glaciers. And as the cruise ship was just going near the icebergs, I saw the icebergs falling. I saw icebergs falling from the glaciers, and I realized that this would cause sea level to rise. And low-level countries like Bangladesh, right, like my home country, if the icebergs kept falling at that rate, then in the future, in the near future, these low-level countries would slowly submerge. That's not something good. So that's really what inspired me to work that first-hand experience. That's what inspired me to start my activism. And at the same time, like you said, did I read about it somewhere? I didn't exactly read it, but me and my dad, we always listen to the news whenever we drive to school. Me and my mom at home, the news is always playing. And on the news, I would always listen to, these journalists talking about climate change and the effects that climate change has on people. And just listening about it from everyone and seeing it firsthand, I think it all came together to make a massive impact on me.
When you look to the future and we rely a lot on governments and policies to make this change happen because people can be mobilized and they can be activists, but we need the government to put in measures in place that will make sure companies reduce their waste or their CO2 emissions or the plastic that they produce that ends up in the ocean and so on and so forth. Are you hopeful, as a young person, as a 12-year-old who is from Bangladesh, but you've lived in New York and you've spoken in front of prominent people before, you've heard prominent people make promises to you. What do you think when you think of policy and the change that we need?
I definitely am hopeful because I think the youth can actually challenge these world leaders and they can tell these world leaders what to do. They can tell these world leaders by protesting or by being involved in community events and by talking to these world leaders directly and telling them to implement these sustainable practices. I mean, I'm sure you've heard the news of what happened in Bangladesh just last month, how the youth came together to make an effect on our community. So I believe that the youth from all over the world can come together to motivate these world leaders, to tell these world leaders what to do and implement these sustainable practices. Because I guess the world leaders will do it at some point in the future, but we need to make these decisions now. And I think that's where the youth comes in. I think the youth has to push these world leaders to make these practices. So I definitely am hopeful because I know that the youth is present.
And Fatia, finally, the country that you're from, Bangladesh, is of course a developing country that still needs to go a long way to get to the level of prosperity and standard of living that we have obtained in the West. And to do that, they need to generate more electricity. They need factories for people to work. And you have this kind of delicate balance where people in the West are putting pressure on them to reduce their CO2 emissions. They're saying, well, we need more coal-burning power plants because we need more electricity to be more industrious, to increase our standard of living, to grow our economy. How you see the poverty in Bangladesh, you see the pollution. What's the answer, do you think?
I think that's where the developed countries come in with their advantage because the developed countries have these practices. I think that they have these solutions, but they just don't implement it. So I think the developed countries can aid these developing countries, give their technological advancements to these developing countries. And I think when everyone comes together, we can make a difference, like I said. So I think the developed countries need to put their assistance and come in the picture.
Yeah, that's a good take and a good point. And hey, I just want to say, Fatia, it's been a pleasure talking to you again. I know this is a few times we meet around this time of the year, and I'm glad everything is going well and in school, and you're going to go on to such great things. And it's such a pleasure to have you involved in the World Cleanup Day.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Cleanup Day. Let's do it now. From the water to the sea, by our hands set free. Don't ask me, an endless oil carpet unfurled, like an unimaginary world. Ooh, topped up we will be left with a queen of a crown bereft. And while you turn your head, plastic is my monster under the bed. Smart. Clean up day. Let's do it now. Clean up.
Bit of music there for you from the band Nylon 6, and that was called We Are Smart. This is the World Cleanup Day show coming to you live from Tallinn in Estonia on the Baltic Sea. And now we're heading to a beautiful country, which I had the privilege of being in just a few weeks ago in lovely Nairobi. And now, look, I see her smiling back at me. Christine in Kenya. Hello, Christine.
Hi, how are you? Hi, Colg.
It's good to
How is Tallinn?
Hey, Tallinn is beautiful. I was out for a walk this morning. Beautiful morning. It's crisp. The sun was spreading over the whole city. What's it like there in Kenya?
It's a sunny day, really beautiful for a cleanup. So really thankful that it's not rained, but it's sunny, and we are just in the middle of marking our World Cleanup Day, which is amazing so far.
It looks really cool behind you. They got all the branding and the tents there. And Christine Seo, we know that you are the leader of Let's Do It Kenya. Are you in Nairobi at the moment, or what part of the country are you in?
Yes, I'm in Nairobi at the moment. I'm at a place we call the Mishuki Memorial Park, which is where we have held one of the cleanups. So for this cleanup, we just finished the cleanups, and we are now doing what we call speeches and, the celebration. So I don't know if you can see behind me, but there is like a congregation of people being addressed. And the address is being made by like government officials, non-governmental representatives from our National Environment Management Authority, as well as people, students, and just everyone is here. What you're seeing, if I can just show you just a glimpse, these are exhibition stands of like what the different organizations in Kenya who work on environment issues, so waste management. So beyond just the cleanup, we thought to have like a conversation, but also a demonstration, so to speak, of how waste is being managed in Kenya by different organizations. So this is our exhibition stand for Let's Do It Kenya. We are showcasing some of our initiatives on cigarette butt pollution. We also have exhibitions from other organizations such as the Kenya Forest Research Institute, who is our neighbor at the exhibition stand. Right behind me is the Kenya Medical Research Institute, just to give you a glimpse of who's here. This is our National Environment Management Authority, which has been really good in terms of helping us to bring all these partners together. And just here is Net Fund, which is again another organization that works on waste management. So, and there's a whole lot of organizations. I can't even go around. It will take the whole interview process. But it's just our way of saying World Cleanup Day is beyond cleanups. It's also about bringing people together, learning from best practices, showcasing what is already going on, and seeing how best we can learn from that.
That's incredible, Christine. And they've all come there together for the World Cleanup Day, as you say, to talk about what they do, how they do it, and how that can help others.
Mm-hmm.
That is amazing.
Yes.
You have been spearheading this for a number of years now, and Kenya always does such an incredible job at the World Cleanup Day each year. What do you put the success of your movement in Kenya down to?
I would say partnerships. That's one. I am really grateful for the different partners who have worked with us, this being our 7th World Cleanup Day. We have, as I've just showcased, different partners from both government and non-government, and even academia. I would also say, this being a youthful movement, I'm not a youth myself, but I work with a couple of young people.
Yes, you are.
You can see some of them who are supporting with our exhibition stand. Yes.
Hey,
I work
guys.
with a bunch of young people who diligently.
Hi.
Yes,
Nice to
who,
see you.
Set aside just join us and also support the movement throughout the year, volunteering to do mini cleanups in preparation, doing a lot of awareness raising, speaking to the media, doing social media activation. So I would say partnerships And then the fact that this is youth-led and a youthful movement.
And I want to just rebook you on something that you said, because you are a young person. You're youthful yourself, Christine.
Yeah, let's say that. Yes.
Okay, Christine, it's been wonderful talking to you. Any last message you want to give us from Let's Do It Kenya?
Even before my last message, I just want to say, so today we have over 30 cleanups happening across the country. And then tomorrow, we still have another set of cleanups that are happening. So because we are used to doing the World Cleanup Day on Saturday, the switch to Friday was tricky in some areas, but we have made arrangements for cleanups to happen even tomorrow. Now, for my last one, let's do this. It's really exciting, and thank you to all the partners. More engaging World Cleanup Day next year. Let's do this. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Christine. You are a star. Thank you so much, and enjoy the rest of your day there in Kenya. Look, cut back to that beautiful smile. We got to see that. We'll cut back. There she is. Bye, Christine. Bye.
Bye.
Always great fun talking to Christine, and when we've had her here in person in Estonia before as well. So thank you so much. And we're going to stay in Kenya at the moment because we have this video message. It comes from the Director General of NEMA, and this is especially recorded for the World Cleanup Day.
Every year on 20th September, we celebrate World Cleanup Day. And the essence of celebrating this global event is to elevate environmental agenda globally and also in our country, to be able to sensitize the public on the importance of having a clean, healthy and secure environment. As a government, we've come up with the necessary legal and institutional framework so that Kenyans can enjoy a clean, healthy and secure environment. From our constitution, fourth preamble, Article 42 of our constitution, all gives us a right, entitlement to a clean, healthy and secure environment. And on this day, we want to encourage the public to be able to take a positive step and ensure that we clean our environment, because waste management is everyone's responsibility. It's not just a government or county responsibilities. Each and every one of us must take responsibility to clean our waste. If you look at our National Sustainable Waste Management Act 2022, the essence is to transition us from linear waste management to circular model of waste management, where NEMA is currently coming up with color code for waste bins and waste bags, so that waste can be sorted at the point of generation at the household level. So we want to encourage our citizens, let's take a positive action, ensure that we clean our environment and live in a clean, healthy and secure environment as provided for in our constitution.
Thank you very much for that, the Director General of NEMA in Kenya. And just before that, we were talking to Christine Seo, the leader of Let's Do It Kenya, who was out in the park. And incredible to see all the different people they brought together for that day. Government officials, different activist groups, and lots of young people, she was saying. Africa, of course, a young continent. Now, because it is such a beautiful day here in Tallinn, the capital of Estonia, we decided to come outside for a second, see the fresh air, see the people walking around. But we're going to continue checking in with countries around the world as they clean. And we're staying on the continent of Africa now. We're heading to the west coast, and we're going to talk to our friends who are just above Namibia. I'm talking about the country of Angola, the capital Luanda, and let's see how they're getting on at the moment. This message, video message from Angola.
Essa ação que está a acontecer hoje é uma ação que acontece a nível mundial. Todos os setembros acontece, portanto é um evento que é a primeira vez que participamos enquanto empresa. A nós deixa-nos bastante orgulhosos por poder fazer parte desta ação, que representa para nós um marco daquela que pretendemos que seja a nossa caminhada daqui para a frente.
Nossa preocupação é criar uma consciência uma educação dentro das comunidades para que exista esta responsabilidade de que cada um de nós é responsável pelos resíduos que produz. Portanto, se nós todos separarmos e colocarmos os resíduos nos seus devidos recipientes, os resíduos não chegam às praias.
A intenção é que o Atlântico esteja cada vez mais presente em eventos como este e que possa contribuir para a sensibilização sobre os impactos que nós podemos trazer para o ambiente, quer a nível das limpezas, quer a nível de como devemos fazer a recolha seletiva dos resíduos e a sua reutilização e inserção na economia.
Nós recolhemos os resíduos de forma separada, os recicláveis e os não recicláveis. Os recicláveis são levados ao nosso ponto de transferência, ao ponto de transferência da Associação Nação Verde e encaminhados às indústrias de reaproveitamento e de transformação ou de reciclagem destes resíduos, com maior destaque as garrafas PET. Os resíduos não recicláveis, as empresas como a Elisal, a LSU, vão levar ao aterro sanitário para a incineração.
Nós precisamos de ter consciência que o lugar não é na praia. O resíduo nós temos que separar. O resíduo tem destino, tem valor. O resíduo deve ir para as nossas indústrias que servem como matéria-prima.
É um dia bastante importante para a consciencialização relativamente à sustentabilidade e à necessidade de todos nos envolvermos em campanhas de limpeza e garantir que o nosso planeta esteja mais limpo e assim preparado para as gerações vindouras.
Thank you very much, our friends in Angola, for that video message. We're continuing to follow the green wave as people clean up around the world. I'm still live outside. It's a little bit chilly, but I just had a nice warm cup of tea, and it's a beautiful day here in Tallinn, Estonia. And speaking of Estonia, our next guest, even though they're living in the United States in Miami, they're actually from Estonia. A bit of a celebrity here. They've won numerous world records. They competed in the Olympics for Estonia. She calls herself the Mermaid. Marle Livand is her real name, and she has become a passionate spokesperson for marine biology, protecting marine biology, and just the oceans in general, keeping them clean. So I caught up with her just a few days ago from Miami, and I asked her about her passion and her cause. Here's that interview. It's good to talk to you again, Marle, and you have some news. I have to call you Lady Marle. Why is that? You went up and picked up a knighthood.
Well, that's what happens when you pick up trash and you raise awareness for the planet. And you might be under a scope where people see that you're doing good things and from trash to royalty. That's what happens.
Wow. Well, congratulations. Where and when did this happen? And why was I not invited?
I'm so sorry. The shell and the dolphins didn't deliver the message, but it was on March, and the Roman Empire and Spanish royal bloodline prince came to Florida and knighted me, and now I own a title. I have all new rules as a royal, and I'm really, really honored because at the age of 33, I'm holding a life work title now.
And how have you used your new title? I'm sure you're abusing this to the max.
Well, I have to say it's kind of interesting because I did a 24-hour swim in Brazil, and I had a security securing me out from hotel to the ocean, and I was kind of like confused if the security gonna come and swim with me for 24 hours. But it gives you more access to look to the world leader eyes and ask them to do better regarding on trash.
Well, that's awesome. Congratulations. So the correct title is Lady Marle. Is that it?
Yes.
Sounds got a good ring to it. It's got a good ring to it. And it's good to talk to you again. I know we spoke in New York last year for the World Cleanup Day, and you are back again. You're based in Miami, but And you've won many Guinness Book records as well for all the different accomplishments you've done. What are you working on at the moment, and how is the activism going?
Well, I have to say, I got the news this morning. I got another Guinness World Record this morning. But that was with Estonian and Finnish government regarding on sauna. So it was something different for my everyday work. But I'm working on right now to bring more awareness that, microplastic has entered the human blood, and microplastic is definitely threatening more the human security, on a sense that it's found on our brains. It's found on men's health. Problems are kind of directly connected with that. So I think my new path is to raise awareness that if you want to be successful in a life, in business, in society, then stop using plastic, because we can't continue the business as usual. And if the business people don't understand the plastic is a problem, then we keep circling the same problems, right? So now, because I'm a lady and I have a new kind of
Clout.
angle,
Yeah.
that's what I'm doing, and it has become better because people understand that it's not about, hey, mermaid wants to save the ocean from turtles or for dolphins. They actually want to save the humanity for that our businesses can grow and our workers can be healthy. So I definitely see that there is a little changes coming up because people are reading more about the microplastic problems and they hearing more about it. So I definitely see there is a lots of impactful things already happening, but I see there is more to do.
And how do you find, I'll call you Mermaid still for the moment, and then at the end I'll wrap it up with Lady, if that's okay. So Mermaid, how do you go about making politicians interested and concerned about your cause? Because it's different for you in that you have won many Guinness Book world records. You now have this, you've been knighted. So people are more inclined at that government level to pay attention to you, to listen to you. For people who do not have the Guinness Book of Records, who do not have a knighthood, but who want to try and bring about change, sometimes they can feel, well, my voice is not as important or as powerful. What would you say to them?
Well, actually, every little drop is powerful. And the way how you can do it is, we live in an era where we can do things with social media for sure and call out the attention, but also attend and engage. Don't be afraid. I was the whole summer in Europe, and I saw that the young generation sometimes is, the older generation doesn't care, right? Well, if you don't engage the talks with diplomatic views instead of accusing, but more putting a finger towards the inspiration, then nothing will get done. In the end of the day, nobody wants to, keep pointing fingers that you are so bad. People want to hear more positive talks and more positive outcome. So engage more on that perspective that you are going to talk with people with who might be the most painful talk coming up, but you just go and share more inspiration, because in the end of the day, people will accept you more when you are just you and you are not bringing, just the negative energy.
Yeah.
And I had a situation where a younger person was so not feeling like their voice is not heard, and I said, well, let's go together to the shopping mall and show them how you don't choose the little bags to put your groceries on, and just educate like that. And she actually got a lot of older people on her building to stop using plastic bags.
That's great.
It was just one movement, but you have to show up even for inspiration,
And I like your point about going in diplomatically. And that also means sometimes you're not going to get completely what you want, but change comes maybe a small bit at a time. And having been a happy warrior, what do you think when you look at how many of the environmental protests are carried out in the world today? I'm thinking of the people who, block the traffic in Europe. We've seen that, who throw paint on the Mona Lisa, who go into art galleries and try and disrupt that way. Is it effective?
It definitely got people to talk, but in the end of the day, did it move the needle further, right? I learned just yesterday that Germany is offering for people give up their driver's license so they don't use cars. And that kind of movements, I think, can be more interesting because, yes, there are going to be people who's going to be mad and extreme and feel differently. But if you are showing up as a role model, don't do it the way how you're destroying something else, right? Do it the way how you inspire. And I feel, stopping the traffic, it should be still, with the diplomatic way, talk with the government and, hey, listen, we're going to stop for an hour of traffic because we want our voice to be heard. And if that doesn't help, go and still knock on the wood of their doors, because if you're doing that aggressively, then nobody wants to listen you 100%, because we already, also live in a world where there are so many problems, and we need to start act more positive way, more, to be the superhero for the people who doesn't listen us. And when you are a superhero to them, things will change. Just keep being there. Don't lose the hope,
Don't lose the hope. And finally, before I let you go, I see that beautiful, pristine wave behind you, or the ocean. As you are a passionate swimmer, you love being in the water, you love being in the ocean. Have you witnessed the problem of plastics getting worse? Is it getting a bit better as there's more awareness now and more activism? Or how have you seen it changed over the last couple of years?
I wish to tell you it has got better, but it has got better because the social media is bringing attention. I want to just really quickly throw in that Miami, we got the balloons banned, and it was, again, where many people were against that when we talk in government world. But we start showing that it's not okay that it lands on the water, and we start showing the pictures. And if you show the pictures what are mean and sad, it will wake up some people. And that I find that this made a change so many ways. People start talking about, wow, I have pictures where I have trash on the background. I don't want to go to beaches like that. So the governments start listening. And that's what we can do. We can use our voice every day to show that, hey, you can be part of the change too. It's not just some superhero. Everybody can be a superhero for a planet. We just have to show up.
But not everyone can be a knighted mermaid from Estonia. That's probably the first in history that a mermaid has been given a knighthood. Don't you reckon?
I think so. I mean, lady mermaids, how many lady mermaids are out there?
I can't think of any others. But Merle, it's been wonderful talking to you again. And I hope you have a great day there in Miami.
Thank you.
Let's do it now.
This is the World Cleanup Day. We're on? Yes? I should go. Okay. Welcome back. We are live. Sorry, missed my cue there. That was me talking to Lady Merle Levand, who's from Estonia but living in Miami. And look at this. It's a beautiful day here We've come outside of the studio and we're broadcasting live from Freedom Square. This is right in the centre of the city, just on the edge of the old town. And this is where people come to celebrate each year their independence, which they only fully gained their independence in 1991, in August of 1991, just a couple of months before the entire Soviet Union collapsed. So it's a beautiful square. There's beautiful churches here as well. And the roads there lead right down into the heart of the old city. Gorgeous narrow streets and cobblestones. And as you can see, there are people skating, there are school kids around, there are people shopping, and everyone is doing well. And coincidentally, this week is World Wellness Week. And one of the ambassadors for World Wellness Week is Julie Wren. Now, what does World Wellness Week have to do with the World Cleanup Day? Well, one of her team members, Madeline, she decided to find out how they are connected. So she sat down and did an interview over Zoom with Julie Wren from World Wellness Week.
So hello, and now we're going to talk with Julie, who is the ambassador of World Wellness Week for global projects. And this is really interesting because the World Wellness Week actually takes place at the same time than World Cleanup Day. And we're going to really talk about a little bit like how those two things can be very much involved. So really happy to have you here, Julie.
Thank you very much, Merlin.
Would you like to perhaps start with just telling us a little bit more what is World Wellness Week and how was it born? And also like, what are you most proud of today, where it has become?
Yes, I mean, so World Wellness Weekend is a pro bono event. It was actually launched in 2017 with the aim of supporting the United Nations SDG 3, which is well-being for all. But within the creation of this idea of having a weekend to celebrate wellness across the planet, there were 5 pillars created to really inspire people to look for different activities, because we feel that, you know, everybody has a different way of experiencing their well-being, and wellness for me is actually the way to get to well-being. And so we have sleep and creativity, nutrition and immunity, movement and vitality, mindfulness and serenity, and purpose and solidarity. And we are really, really proud today to say that we have over 155 countries around the world who are getting themselves involved in World Wellness Weekend.
Wonderful. And also I was trying to extend it right away to the week because I think it's such an important thing that it could be a week, it could be a month, or it could be a year, but the weekend is a good start.
I think it's the weekend is the big celebration, but it's about planting seeds, and it's really about helping people to discover what wellness activities they would love to get more in their life. So we really want to stimulate people not just to do it on one weekend, but to build it into their lives as a daily habit, if you like.
Absolutely, absolutely. So you already mentioned those 5 pillars you're working with. Maybe you could talk a little bit more about those, and especially how do you translate them into inspired actions directly related to World Cleanup Day?
Well, that was a great project this year that I worked on, and I found it that we needed to think a little bit more laterally, because obviously what you're doing with World Cleanup Day goes much deeper as well when you look at what you're doing with the Let's Do It. Yes, so the work with the 5 pillars, you know, how do we translate that to World Cleanup Day actions as well? I think we have to look broader about what Let's Do It World is trying to achieve. So looking at how we have this mismanagement of waste and how, I suppose, also how we consume. So what I was trying to do was to look at things like, let's take sleep and creativity, for example. You know, sleep and creativity, a good night's sleep will help you be creative. But within that, why not look at creativity and create some kind of art exhibition by using trash that you've cleaned up and create a competition with it? Or with sleep, for example, we could talk about the power of sleep, the importance of sleep for creativity, but also for being healthy and to have a more mindful approach to our lives as well. Because when we're not sleeping well, you know, we don't fire on all 4 cylinders, and so we're not making the best choices. So there are ways to sort of create activities, maybe giving people information about sleep, having a fun sleep nap session going on in the parks, after you've cleaned up. So there's kind of the links there that we could create to inspire people to look beyond just what we might think of as being a wellness activity through sleep. The same thing for me as well with the nutrition and immunity pillar. It's there we could be looking at how do we shop differently? How do we plan our meals differently? That would mean that we would perhaps be consuming less, or we'd have less waste, less food waste. And perhaps through that, we could also be talking about community gardening and sharing food, or bringing food to food banks on our way to doing a cleanup. So I think that's the fun part of it, is that there could be so many possibilities that they are absolutely endless. But I think the two pillars that are really important are the mindfulness one and the serenity one, because again, we want to talk about our inner selves, the cleaning up of our inner selves as much as our planet and our community around us.
Absolutely, because when we are confused, fearful, anything what is going on internally, it actually translates directly also like how do we behave with the world around us, how do we behave towards the earth, etc., etc.
And the final pillar, purpose and solidarity, is one that really unites us. And that's again about this being wellness for all, is how can we find the solutions together to help us have a healthier planet and the people and planet together.
Exactly. Very much agree with that. Is there any special projects you're currently working on?
Well, we're very excited this year to be working or to have the opportunity to work with Peter Carter, the 2 times Grammy Award winner. He's a composer. He's going to be releasing his new Breathwork series on September 20th in association with World Wellness Weekend and World Cleanup Day. So what we're trying to do is encourage our ambassadors to, and hopefully your world leaders as well, to use this as a way to kick off their activities and to help them also feel more connected around the world, whether that's cleanups in parks or beaches or rivers within the neighborhood, really to give like an energizer for the day ahead. So that's a very exciting project that we are so pleased to be able to be working on. And we've been doing that with Mindstream, which is again a company that specializes in music for health and wellness, and is really about the intersection of sort of art and science, where we use music to really change the way we feel our inner world as well. Music's not just necessary for relaxation. Music has the power to transform thoughts. It also can affect our heart rate, our blood pressure. So yeah, so we're calling it's like functional music. How can we use music more to change, say, our internal world?
Absolutely, and there's more and more kind of scientific studies actually coming out about the ways how music affects us, also like neuroaesthetics, which is a really interesting scientific field, etc. So very cool. Is there any final message you would like to share from the World Wellness Weekend to the whole global community of World Cleanup?
Well, first of all, enjoy your day, enjoy the weekend, have fun. That's the most important thing. Get connected, but also that connection is about connecting with yourself and your inner world, because I feel that if we are really focusing on our self-care, we are a lot more in a position, I think, to start looking outwards as well and thinking, well, what's the next step? So we could create like a ripple effect. So if I'm taking care of myself, the next level will be who's around me, my family, perhaps then my friends, my work colleagues, my community, and so on and so on. So as we create this ever-growing circle of, we could call it the blue ripple effect, how can we really influence people to be more connected and more mindful and want to get involved with the different kinds of activities that really bring us a sense of well-being, because there is no distinction between wellness of the earth and our human experience. And there I'm quoting Peter Carter, who was had an interview with our founder on the 11th of September. But that I found that a very powerful statement is, we cannot be thinking separate. We are connected. We are all one. And don't forget as well that we are calling September the new January, a way to get started and to get active and to make new habits. So I wish you all a wonderful, wonderful time, and look forward to hearing and seeing all the photos. hearing all the news and seeing the photos.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Julie, for this
Pleasure. Thank you very much.
inspirational message, and really beautiful to hear your sharings. And we're all looking forward to the breathwork session to dive into as well. So thank you very much.
That was our very own Marilyn talking to Julie Wren, a spokesperson and ambassador for World Wellness Week. They were talking about the connections between World Wellness Week and the World Cleanup Day. We are still here in this beautiful pathway just next to the studio and next to the square here. Beautiful, fresh day. And we're going to continue by checking in next with Albania. This is Albania's first year taking part in the World Cleanup Day. And they posted this video to illustrate how they've been able to mobilize the youth and use their passion and talent for art to try and connect more with the environment. Take a look at this.
Ti më je forcë në çdo stuhi, fort të ndranbaj në duar, dhe s'kam për tu dorëzuar, semrin e kam jetë, dhe bota më ditë unë nis një rrugë në të hapësir pa fund. Jo mos haro, ka ende shpresë. Ai diell që vdes në mbrëmje, ai diellin në mëngjes, jeton kjo tokë në re. Dashuria sekreti, ilëm turist në këtë planet. Can't clean up things, let's do it now.
Beautiful images there from Albania with the children and their art, how they're depicting the environment and trying to use their voice, young voice, to try and raise awareness in Albania. And beautiful country too, Albania. I've had the pleasure of going to Tirana, the capital, a number of times. Now we're heading from Albania to Martinique, because there the Let's Do It World leader is called Sylvia. And Sylvia has got an incredible talent for music, and especially for the World Youth Day. He put together this piece of music. It's kind of a mix of music and song and poetry to give his perspective of this issue.
This is nature. What a beauty, huh? Where the river joins the sea. This is how flows this idea. Dear young people, I used to be angry, like most of us can be, because when I see this beauty, the way this bird is flying gracefully, I'm trying to understand how we came to that point, really. This is my version of the story. Like the wind and this kite surfer, I've always wanted to be free. Like a white dog, I roam this earth so I can know it. In order to build this world, hopefully for the better, I don't throw hands. I give it to my brother and my sister. At least this is how things work here in the Caribbean. We the people take every day as opportunities to smile, love, and give thanks for the blessings. Not everything is perfect, nor is anybody. When you start paying attention and look around, you found out that despite of how it sounds, when you're the first, it's not that lonely, no, because soon enough, the love you start spreading will be stronger than the fear you've been feeling. Friends, family, and strangers start appearing, resonating with the vision you've been sharing. And watch out, because before you realize, something magical happens before your own eyes. Start seeing things from another perspective, gain some height and understand that your intention is everything. From your heart, like a flower, it starts unfolding. Step by step, the stairways to heaven, we start walking. Heaven is in the sky because from there we can see Mother Earth clearly. If I look back, it's just to see my old self proudly. The best I could was to invest in me. How incredible is the outcome? It's only the beginning. I built my faith and my will, that became my very foundation. No matter the situation, I want to give thanks to the universe, which responded to my new vibration. It brought the people I needed, people to teach me, the people to support me, the people to see me, the people to listen to my story. And through all that, the people love me. Together, we gather to help each other. Together, we rise and become better. Together, we'll make it one day or another. Healing, laughing, loving, building, celebrating. It requires only one moment before the realization, only one hand before the liberation, and only love will be our salvation. Grateful is not enough to describe what I feel and see. I'm feeling one, just like when the river joins the sea. How much you love it? How much you love it? Sinai, 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 Sinai.
Thank you, Sylviane Petier, the leader of Let's Do It Martinique, for that song, When the River Joins the Sea. Such great creativity. And that's the incredible thing about this, that if you want to try and raise awareness for these environmental issues and the problem of waste, pollution, well then there are many different ways you can do it. We saw the children doing it through their art in Albania. Now we see Sylviane doing it through his music and his creativity in Martinique. It's incredible. We're about to head to beautiful France for a live interview with Anna in just a moment. But before we do that, let's get a little video of France for a bit of background before the interview. Now, that was a little video clip from France where we are going to switch to now and say hello to Anna Grill. Good afternoon, Anna. How's it going? Now, we don't seem to have sound from Anna. Hang on tight there for a second. Have you turned on your mic? You're muted, Anna, I think. We can see you, and I thought maybe it was something in my earpiece, but now can we hear you? Let's try that again. We'll do it again. Watch this. Now we go live to France to Anna Grill. Hello, Anna. No, I think you're still muted. Let's see. Do you have it unmuted there on your end? Or is it something on our end here, guys? We're just going to check it out.
Can you hear me now?
Ah, Anna, there you go. We can hear you.
That was not working.
Loud and
sorry.
clear. No problem, no problem. Where are you, Anna, at the moment, and how is the cleanup going so far?
I'm actually in Lyon with a company that I coached today on their cleanup. So I have about 30 people. They're now finishing the cleanup, sorting, doing the last sorting of the waste. We are about to conclude that cleanup. It's actually worked nicely and smoothly. We have about 2,500 cleanups ongoing in France at the moment. Or
Wow.
at least in the coming days.
That's
We have
incredible. 2,500 cleanups.
Yes, absolutely.
That is unbelievable. And when you say that you're just analysing and counting the rubbish, I can see it there behind you. What kind of things have you been finding and discovering in your cleanup?
Well, we are in the middle of Lyon, so a big city in France, and mostly the waste are packaging. So it's going to be mostly paper cups, metal cans.
From your experience in previous years, you've been doing this for a number of years, Anna. Do you notice the problem getting any better? Is it getting worse? Is it staying the same? What's it like there in France?
Generally, today, I did find that the streets were actually quite clean. As always, we find a lot of cigarette butts, but other wastes were in smaller quantities than I've seen in the past, I could say.
Wow, that's incredible. Do you think that was just as luck would have it today, or do you think there has been some sort of shift in France in terms of attitudes towards littering and polluting?
I would say that people tend to realize more and more what the problem is with littering. I would not say that there's a massive change, but also the communities are acting like strongly on raising awareness, also on cleaning more the streets, because the cleaner the streets, the less the people will litter. So it's also a common approach between the citizens and the communities.
Is it a big problem in France? Because we always hear that French people, they're a very proud people, a very proud nation. So the idea in my mind that they would litter and pollute their own beautiful country, it seems kind of hard to believe. But how big is the problem in France?
It's still quite big. Actually, Gestapop issues a survey every year, the results of a survey, which shows that 1 million tons of waste are thrown away, are littered every year in France. 1 million tons.
Wow. Okay. So then the hope then is to try and make sure that it gets recycled and as much of it is reused as possible.
Yes, indeed. And this is what we are doing today by sorting the waste and send it back for recycling.
And so what is the plan for the rest of the day? The cleanup is finished where you are in Lyon. And what will happen to all that waste that we can see behind you in those bags? Give us a look at it. That's a lot.
Quite a few bags, yes.
It's quite a few bags. What's going to happen to all of that now? Where is it brought and how is it handled?
The person that is organizing the cleanup has contacted the municipality, and the municipality is going to take care of this waste.
So they will come and take it from you then and bring it to the appropriate place. That's fantastic. And I see the volunteers behind you. Who has turned out there? You said there's 2,500 cleanups across France, but at the one that you're at, is it young people? Is it old people? Is it students? What's it like?
It's actually employees of a company, of a bank, And so it's mostly adults, but I know that there are lots of cleanups happening in schools at the moment, and also cleanups organized by citizens. In France, we really put a focus on World Cleanup Day belongs to everyone, and everyone can and should participate. So we do have quite balanced participation from companies, municipalities, associations, schools, and citizens.
And Anna, how does it work with the companies? Do they get involved by contacting you, or is it Let's Do It France reaching out to them? How is that link made?
It's mostly they hear about World Cleanup Day and then they contact us, or they don't, and they just go to our website, find the resources, and get organized by themselves. But it's mostly that they've heard about the project before, and then they come to us. We don't really have to go to them to raise awareness. They hear of the project.
That's great. And Anna, before we go, we've spoken a number of years, but finally, what gives you the passion that you have to keep doing this and dedicating so much time and energy into it? And I love your big smile now. I can see it on the monitor here.
The people, as always, like meeting fantastic volunteers that keep motivated and happy to fight for a healthier, cleaner planet. That's definitely my biggest motivation. Also, is the fact that going on the street and acting is really the best way to raise awareness. Raise your own awareness, get really to understand what is the issue with litter, and especially if you take really the time to then discuss after a cleanup about what you found and how to reduce at the source. It's really a fantastic action also for raising awareness.
That's great, Anna. So what's next for the rest of the evening for you to celebrate? Is it a baguette? Is it a croissant? Is it a bit of brie cheese? What will you do?
A bit of cheese, of course, wine, calm, come on.
I love it. I will be right over. Anna Grill, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us.
Bye, guys.
Let's do it, France. Thank you. Viva France. Now we are going to go from France to Norway. This is an interview that we did a few days ago, and I think this is just a fantastic initiative because, like my home country, Ireland, and countries all over Europe now, there is a levy on plastic bags. This was introduced a number of years ago after a directive from the EU. But what I didn't realise is that the price put on the plastic bag, that money could be collected in various different ways. All that the EU told countries and member states was, listen, to reduce the use of plastic bags, we want every member state to introduce a levy. But what you do with that money or where it goes, that's kind of up to you. That was something I didn't realise. And in Norway, instead of it becoming a government tax, as it has done in many other parts of the world, another way for the government to collect income, this was actually taken into the hands of a citizen organisation who have taken all of the money from the levy, from the bag, and are putting it to good use. When you think about it and when you talk about it, it's actually such a simple idea, but it's been really effectively implemented in Norway. And to tell me more about it, I spoke to Cecilia Lind. She is the CEO of the Norwegian Retailers Environment Fund. And here's what she had to say about it. Cecilia, it's lovely to talk to you. How are things in beautiful Oslo today?
Sun is shining, and it's cleanup week this week in Norway. So there's a lot of volunteers out cleaning out on the beaches. So it's a wonderful day.
And a lot of excitement. Is cleaning up and environmental issues, are they things that are taken seriously in Norway? Are people proud of the country and keeping it clean?
Absolutely. We have a long tradition of beach cleanups, especially in Norway. People have been doing it for many years, and a lot of people are going out all year long, actually, to clean up the neighborhoods and their beaches. You know, we even have this Norwegian word called dugnad, which is voluntarily work, basically.
Okay.
So this is something that's quite a tradition in Norway, yes.
That's beautiful. So people see it as their duty as a citizen to keep their country clean, because Norway is famous for its beautiful, pristine scenery, and I know you have incredible train rides going up the coast and the countryside, and you yourself are from outside the city.
I think we feel ownership to the nature, because we are also allowed to through allemannsretten, which is the right to be everywhere you want in the nature, at least for some days.
But like anywhere in the world, with increasing consumerism and more people buying things from retail shops, just like every other part of the world, you've suffered as well from an increasing use of plastics and then pollution and environmental problems that have come from that. And this is fascinating. You're the CEO of the Norwegian Retailers Environment Fund. Tell me about this fund and how it works with the retailers.
The whole setup is voluntarily, so there's no law or regulation mentioning the fund. But the major players, the retailers in Norway, they formed this fund together in an agreement with the governments back in 2017 to make sure that the consumption of plastic bags were taken down by introducing a fee on plastic bags and then using the fee on solving plastic problems. So that's the basic idea behind the fund.
Wow. So did the fee on the plastic bags, that wasn't an initiative that came from the EU or from the government. That was the retailers who said to the government, we want to put this fee on and use that money to help the environment?
Yeah, basically. There was an obligation in the EU regulation to reduce the consumption of bags, and the government were obliged to make sure that bags were paid for, but it doesn't specify anything more than that.
And how much is it per bag that will go into this environment fund?
It's been increasing, but now it's about 3 Norwegian kroner, which is about 25 cents in euro.
Wow, that's quite a lot for each bag sold.
For each bag, yeah.
And I presume this doesn't cover all retailers. So is it just some major retailers in Norway?
The major players are with us. The grocery shops are, of course, the major players, but there's also members from textiles, sporting goods, pharmacists, bookshops, everything. So it's about 75 different brands, and we're covering about 88% of the plastic bag market. Yeah.
88%?
Yes.
Wow. That is incredible. And then the ones that are holding off or that aren't involved, that 12%, what do you think is holding them back?
It's different things. Some of them are not selling that much plastic bags. They are selling paper bags instead. So they find that they have their volume somewhere else. So it's not kind of their responsibility. Some of them have their own environmental projects that they are funding instead of being part of us. We would like them to be part of us, of course. Yeah.
Oh, I see. So some of them may still have the levy on the bag, but that money they're putting to other use in other places.
Yes, their own projects that they feel closer to than us. Yes.
So Cecilia, with 25 cents per bag approximately coming in, how much does that amount to each year that you can then take and put to good use in terms of environmental issues?
It's been increasing yearly because we have increased the fee. So over 500 million Norwegian kroner last year. So it's a lot of money that's come into the fund. And the genius idea is that we can spend all this money on funding plastic solutions. So the money coming into the fund are used solely on that purpose. So it's just a matter of time when we spend the money out again on plastic solutions. Yeah.
That is fantastic. And is it you implementing the projects directly, or is it people apply to you for the grants to do the projects that they want to do?
The latter. So most of the money we spend on open calls for projects, and then we pick the best projects and fund them. We also have some projects that we initiate ourselves. It can be projects that no one else is willing to fund. Knowledge, for instance, that is much needed, but it's hard to find the finance. So that's something that we can initiate ourselves. But most of the money goes into other projects that are sent to us through calls, open calls. Yeah.
And Cecilia, what is your criteria when people want to apply for a project? I mean, what are you looking for? What do you want to achieve?
Environmental results. So either kilos removed from the nature or tons recycled or plastics avoided. Yeah, so it's just about the environmental footprint of the project.
Did you say as well knowledge, as in research, that you will fund research projects.
Yep.
Where I know it's in the academic world, it can be difficult sometimes, as you were saying, to get funding for these types of projects. So what kind of research do you fund into the plastic issue or environmental issues?
It can be a wide variety. It can be about the spreading of plastic pollution, for instance. It can be about where do we find plastics? What is it consisting of? Is it possible to recycle? It's all kinds of things. We have funded a large project that looked into the whole plastic systems in Norway.
And I know that it has only been running since 2017, the Norwegian Retailers Environment Fund, but have you been able to gauge the success or see results from your work?
Sure, that's what we are eager to do every day. So we have this big Clean Up Norway program, which is the flagship project, I would say, where we have professional cleanup actions going on continuously around the coastline. So we have removed over 3,700 tons, I think now, of plastics from the Norwegian coastline, covering the distance from Oslo to Australia and back. we have a very long coastline in Norway, so that's one example of what we've done. We have removed, I think, over 10,000 boats now. Recreational boats. They get left by the lake or along the coastline. No one owns them. No one wants to pay to get rid of them. So we have financed a large cleanup regarding boats.
Have you noticed a reduction in the amount of people using plastic bags since this fee was introduced?
Yes, the use of plastic bags have been reduced significantly since we started the fund and the fee. So we are aiming for the EU regulation, which is 40 bags per person. We used to use almost 200 back in 2015, I think, in Norway. We are on the top of the world when it comes to plastic bags.
Really? 200 bags per person?
In 2015, yes.
For 1 year, 200 bags per person.
Yeah. And now we are about around 60, 70 bags per person.
Wow, so you were able to more than cut it in half.
Sure.
That's an incredible result, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very interesting. And we are quite fascinated by that we are able to do this without using a tax or a regulation to do it. It's all voluntarily. And it's a fantastic mechanism for also financing plastic solutions. So I think it's a win-win that should be copied other parts of the world.
Is there any danger, Cecilia, that with the success of your group, and I mean, they're incredible figures, that the government can say, well, you know what, we don't have to worry about this or put resources into this or energy or money because groups like the Norwegian Retailers Environment Fund, they're doing it and they're doing it so well, we'll leave it to them. Not our problem anymore.
I think that's part of the discussion, of course, but then of course it's also the aspect that the producers and businesses have to take responsibility and join in. So it's two sides of the discussion, but of course there's also a discussion about what you are taking up there.
And from your point of view and from the group, when you talk about legislation in Norway, what would you like to see put in place to help the environment and to help reduce, reuse and recycle overall?
Oh, that's a big question. There's a lot of measures to be taken, I think.
The big questions only here on the World Cleanup Day.
It's different measures in the different parts of the value chain. When it comes to the big problem, I tend to say that my favorite action is to make sure that we have to use recycled plastic when we produce new plastic projects, because that will make the producer interested in getting their own plastics back, because that's the plastic they know and trust.
Oh, yes.
So I think that's an important measure to take in the future. Yeah.
That's a great point, because most people forget there are many different types of plastic, and some plastics are better suited to doing certain types of things than others, etc., etc. So if you were to force manufacturers and suppliers to use a certain percentage of recycled plastic in what they're producing, it would be in their best interest to get that same plastic back.
Exactly.
Okay, that's why you Norwegians are on top of everything, you know. So what are you excited about when you look to the future? This initiative is going extremely well. What's next? I mean, what is the Environment Fund focusing on next?
There's still a lot of done. Of course, there's technology needed to be developed. So the plastic problem will not be solved for many years to come. So unfortunately, we have not spent all the money. We have quite a lot of money in the bank because we're a small fund. So we tend to have a capacity challenge in handing out the money to the project. So I think there's a lot on the technology side, of course, infrastructure, on the waste side, for instance, that's needed. There's the development of alternatives to plastics, which are not very easy and takes a lot of research, for instance. So there's tons of things to be done in the future. And we have funded a lot of pilot projects, for instance, when it comes to changing from single use to reuse, for instance. And these are very promising. So we are, of course, hoping to see a scale up of many of the solutions that we have funded that are now pilots, but are looking very promising.
When you think about it, it is such a simple but effective fund and idea. Have you had other countries coming to you and looking at your example as a beacon and trying to implement it in their nation?
Yeah, sure. As soon as we cross the border, people are interested in knowing how we were able to set up the fund and how it's set up and how can they possibly do something similar in their countries.
You're talking about your
big interest on that. Yeah.
Your good old neighbours Denmark and Sweden.
They have a state tax.
They have a state tax. That's how they do it. But in Norway, it is voluntary and it is the people who take it into their own hands.
Yep.
That is fantastic. Well, Cecilia, it's fascinating and a great result. So congratulations to you and the team and everyone involved in what you do. And thank you for being part of the World Cleanup Day.
Thank you for talking to you.
Cleanup Day. Let's do it now.
Thank you very much for that lovely chat, very enlightening chat. Cecilia Lind of the Norwegian Retail Environment Fund, and she was on earlier in the programme as well, live from Norway. So thank you for your partnership and all of your support there in Norway. Now, we are going to get a quick video message from South Africa because Let's Do It World and the World Cleanup Day is also partnering with ISWA, that is the International Solid Waste Association. It's an organisation that is dedicated to developing sustainable waste management practices, not just in South Africa, but right around the world. And the president is Carlos Silva Filho, and he has sent this message for us.
Hello, everybody. I'm here from Cape Town, South Africa, at the ISWA 2024 World Congress, and happy to share this message with all of you, especially with the Let's Do It World team, to celebrate the first edition of the World Cleanup Day. This day is really emblematic to all of us who are working, who are dealing to address the challenges of the current waste management system. We have the most recent data showing that something around 2.7 billion people in the world lack of waste collection. 38% of the waste collected goes to inadequate disposal sites. So really causing several problems in terms of pollution, greenhouse gases emission, and loss of biodiversity. So we really need to take this opportunity for the World Cleanup Day to address and initiate a movement, a global movement towards better waste management, towards 100% collection, towards closing open dump sites and stopping open burning. This is the right time to save our planet and generate a better environmental conditions to the generations that will come after us. So let's do it. Let's engage the movement. Let's engage people. Let's mobilize decision makers, the civil society and individuals, because every action counts, and it's on us to really make the change happen. Count on you. you can count on me. Let's celebrate this first World Cleanup Day and let's make it together the change the world deserves.
Thank you, Carlos Silva in South Africa. Now from South Africa, we go to Switzerland, known around the world for its horology, which is the science of time and clocks. One watchmaker there called Norquin. It's a company based in Switzerland, as I said. They make beautiful, exquisite watches. But get this, they designed and built a watch made out of recycled and reused materials, especially for the World Cleanup Day. And by the way, this isn't just a prototype or an experiment. This is a watch that they designed, that they built to specification just for the World Cleanup Day, and they're selling as well. It's an incredible story. Ben Kuffer is the man behind the idea, and he took some time to talk about the process, talk about the idea, and talk about the results to our very own Marilyn. Here's that interview.
So hello, and now we're dialing into Switzerland. And we have this amazing opportunity to speak with Ben, who is the founder and CEO of watch brand we collaborated with for our previous World Cleanup Day, but who have really been this really exciting partner for Let's Do It World and World Cleanup Day already, throughout having this conversation with them for quite a while. So welcome, Ben. So glad to speak with you.
Thank you very much, Marilyn. Yeah.
And let's start by perhaps you just telling the global audience a little bit more about Norquin and perhaps a little bit like how and what is the idea behind actually starting a completely new watch brand, and also what are your core values with the brand, with the company?
Yes, so thank you very much. I'm very happy to be here and to talk a bit about our partnership, which we, of course, really were excited about. And Norquin, we started in 2018. It was a dream of mine in a very traditional industry to bring some fresh air. I think, if you look at the Swiss watch industry, there's been a big evolution in the past years. As you know, watches in Switzerland is part of our culture. It's a cultural object. We have watches, we have cheese, we have banks. Not only one big one left now out of two, but that's really an important part. And I think for me it was very exciting to realize that the watch industry had moved towards corporate, a lot of big groups, luxury groups that saw the potential in Swiss watchmaking and that purchased many independent brands. And I was also working in a watch brand. My family has a background in watches. But I decided to start my career at a different brand than the family business to really, get the hardship in me and learn a bit what it's really about. And I had a great time. I stayed there for 11 years. The company was sold to a luxury group, which confirmed what I was feeling, right? That all these brands, a lot of brands are being sold, even to, foreign countries and investors. So yeah, I'm maybe a bit romantic, but we're third generation watch industry in my family. I felt like, what are the young doing new to help this industry? And there is no startup culture in Switzerland in the watchmaking sector. It's really a traditional industry. It's your biggest asset to say that you're 100 years old as a brand. So I just said, you know what, that's it. I'm going to launch a new brand, and our story is going to be the future, innovation, and doing things differently from what is being done in the market. And that was the start of Norquin. So like the World Cleanup Day in 2018, we launched the brand.
Wow, amazing. So you're basically like a real trailblazer in the very traditional industry.
Well, at first I have to say I didn't realize how much that would be, because of course we were 3 people. So when I started and launched Norquin, I was really focused on what would our message be, what is our story, what is our collection. And I quickly realized, hey, it's great. I don't have to make up a story. I didn't purchase an existing brand with a story about a sailing boat from the 1900s. I can really just say Norquin is what I believe in, the values I believe in, and surround myself with great people who believe in the same values. So we'll get to that a bit later, but I think we really, Norquin is a challenger brand. We challenge status quo, not only in terms of our brand identity, but in terms of the products as well, that we were the first brand, as you know, to move completely out of leather goods. And it was a huge reaction. You can imagine leather is a big part of the Swiss watch in the past, And so when we announced that, people were like, yeah, well, so they never sell watches if they don't do any leather at all. And it's the opposite. Like, people today are moving in our direction. Rubber has become much more strong in the industry, and of course other materials. We're now looking at recycled steel, and a lot of things are happening, and we're happy to be a part of the challenge in that domain.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, I mean, we can all see that in the current day and age, a lot of changes are needed, and we definitely cannot stay with the status quo. We can't stay with the traditional ways of doing. So it's really nice to see that, you and your brand, that you really want to do something different and kind of really bringing it to the world, the strong message. So my next question would be, actually, like, there are so many different initiatives and so many different things you could do for, environment, for the planet, for the well-being of all, and so on. Why did you choose World Cleanup Day and Let's Do It World to partner up with? And what do you see as kind of the main benefits for both parties, for Norquain, but also, through Norquain to World Cleanup Day?
Yeah, well, the World Cleanup Day, for me, I've been following it since the start, because it was the same foundation year. So of course it was somewhere I was in that, and I think it was a friend of mine who sent me the when you started the World Cleanup Day initiative, said, hey, super cool. And I love it because it's about community, it's about growing awareness, also about, and I think that it's also giving people the chance to be part of something in an easy way. Because the problem is, and we all know that sustainability is a very big subject. And we could talk, about how can we tackle it in production, how can we tackle it in travel, but one thing that we can all do is help. And I think it's by doing small things, everybody can have a big contribution. And the World Cleanup Day is a perfect example. Tomorrow you can gather people together and you can make a place that has waste cleaner. And what I love about that is that it's getting bigger all the time. So you're growing the community, you're growing the awareness. And I just saw it in with the team in Zermatt, the way when you do the cleanup, it really puts you together. And they were talking about, oh, we could also do this, without problem in Vienna around the lake, or it just gives you ideas, because you need to start somewhere. And I think the World Cleanup Day, that's what you guys stand for, is you just did it, you built the community, and you can be very proud of what you managed to achieve.
Yes, absolutely. And to be honest, like, this is the single biggest mission of World Cleanup Day. It's actually, people think it's so much like around waste, but actually, yes, obviously waste collection and kind of bringing the awareness to waste as a resource is a huge thing. But to be honest, the main thing is community, to understand that we're all the global family, we're all living on the same planet together, and how to actually engage people and bring them together in a completely different way, in a physical experience, rather than in our like online stimulation or simulation. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
No, it's really it's great, and I think it was for us a great opportunity when you and Brian and the whole partnership teams got together. I was super happy, because I think it's really something that from the core, from the values, we are aligned. And I knew that we could do some great things, and I think we show now that we did some innovative ideas, also following the cleanup, to use the waste, and I'm sure we'll get into that. But that's for me exciting to see how far you can bring a project and a partnership.
Absolutely. So maybe this is the time where we can actually show the watch, what you
Yes.
created with the waste from Zermatt.
Yeah, of course. So maybe just a bit the story, but we have this product called Wild One. We launched it 2022 together with Jean-Claude Beaver. Jean-Claude Beaver is a huge legend in the Swiss watch industry. He's behind some of the biggest success stories. And he saw Norquain around 220 when COVID started, and he really liked the brand, and he realized that it's always difficult to say that from yourself, but he saw potential in the Norquain brand, and he spoke to us and said, guys, I really think, I love how you're challenging. Now it's COVID. Post-COVID, you should come with products that are really, completely revolutionary and different. And that's when we started our project, which we named the Ultimate High Performance Sports Watch, which was the Wild One. And where it gets interesting is we said we wanted to also tackle production differently. So what we have here, and that we used, of course, for the World Cleanup Day timepiece, that is a limited edition to 15 pieces, is the Nortec material. And the Nortec material is actually a very exciting material, because it's carbon fibers, but then we mix it with a little bit of a secret recipe. But in there we have 60% bio-sourced materials. We're using coaster oil to make it come together, and we upcycle and recycle all the waste. So when we finish the first production of the case, everything that drops is getting used for the next case. So we have a really good circular production, which was the first time that we managed to do it ourselves. We already did do things where we were optimizing, but that was always together with the suppliers. Here we really started from scratch, and it was quite a great challenge. So in 2022, we launched the watch. So it felt the logical choice to have the wild one with the World Cleanup Day. With the World Cleanup Day, what we did in terms of design, which I find really fun, I'll try to show you, is that you have the 3 colors of World Cleanup Day in the hand. So the hour, the minute, and the second. I try to zoom in. So you see here the Norcane pattern. This is the Nortec material that I mentioned, that's super resistant. And you have on the case back the actual World Cleanup Day logo that you see here, and with our manufactured caliber, which is a movement that we produce together with Kennedy. And then a little bit the highlight of the design is, you can see here the time piece has a plate. This plate can be personalized with your own name. But what's really exciting, this plate is made of the material that we collected in Zermatt. We collected 2 tons together with the schools and our 4 Norcane members, the volunteers that were joined us. And we had 2 tons of waste, and we produced these plates from that waste. So it's a nice homage towards that cleanup day, and a very limited production of only 15 pieces globally.
That is so cool. And also it is almost like a truly exclusive piece, because actually the waste on the little plate is absolutely different on each piece, right? Because it's
yeah.
It's
and I love mine because I have a little bit of like yellow greenish, and it looks really cool. And I saw the other day, I was like, oh, it's really cool, it's yellow green. And then the other day I was like, oh, but that's a different plate, and it was the same. It's just a different part of the, so it went brownish. So yeah, every plate is unique, of course, and it's something very, very special. And of course, for us, what was the idea? It's really that we wanted to do something together with World Cleanup Day. 10% of the watch is going to World Cleanup Day, in addition, of course, to our partnership and the supports that we want to do, and hopefully many future projects that we have to plan. Together, we have some really nice projects, for example, in the Everest region, also where we're doing cleanups with the Sherpas. Together with our, we have their butterfly help project, and I mentioned that to them and said we have to do something with the World Cleanup Day, and they were like, oh yeah, that would be super cool, because of course it's a huge problem. Politics are now also getting very involved, and it should get better because they're going to be very strict. But yeah, it gives you ideas. There's a lot we can do together.
Absolutely. And we're also so excited to work with cool people and cool brands and cool companies like you and Norcane.
Thank you very much.
As a final thing, perhaps you have like a message to share to the business community or like luxury industry community of like how, perhaps like how we could look resources differently, how we could look waste differently, or what would be like the biggest view or message what you would want to share in terms of sustainability in this industry?
I think it's not to be scared of change. Because what we realized at Norcane, when many people say to us, oh, but for you, why did you do it? Yeah, but we started from zero. So we didn't have to change. We could define it from the beginning to do it the right way. And I think what's the problem today is that a lot of brands, companies, as you know, there's a lot of things going on. There is the responsibility to pay salaries. There is a responsibility to make sure the company is functioning. And I understand that, but the change management, that is an important factor. And if companies are agreeing to take, a change and make a change, then they can have a huge impact. And I think that's what it's about. And I can just it's a small example. I understand that, but the example of the leather goods, it gave me a clear sight. Well, the way when we communicated that, everybody was like, why do they do that? Oh, their problem, they will not sell anymore. And now 3 years later, we have at least 3 brands following, and we have trends of fashion brands, as you know, moving from leather good bags to now going into different materials. So clearly there something, and it's one thing. But imagine we do the same for circular production, and we do the same for travel. And I think Teams and Zoom is helping a lot already. But I just mentioned earlier, there is everywhere things that you can optimize, and we are by far not perfect. But I try everywhere to challenge and to think, could we do it differently? And could we do it better? And I think that's the start to everything. So my message would be, don't be worried, don't be scared of change.
I love it. Thank you so much. I think that it's true. Like, we shouldn't just be afraid of change, but we should also be the change. Like, this is, I guess, what we all should do in order for things to change.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And if you look at it, it's nice to see that I think the startup, world, of course, which I have been a part of and I've seen now for 6 years, and World Cleanup Day, you're in that sense also a startup. I always say for the first 10 years, I think everybody will call us a startup. It's normal. But I think the key message is really for us to understand that we are role models in that sense, because we don't have to change. We have to define correctly from the beginning. And I think if this world sets a good standard, it will automatically lead to a better world. So it's a cool responsibility that startups that of course are small in absolute terms of business, but that they can challenge that, and they can give messages that the media can support and put pressure. And I think that's something that I'm enjoying. So because you can see that everybody has a voice, and Norcam we've developed nicely over the last 6 years. In the watch industry, we are still a relative small players given the huge size of the groups. But I can say today, when we say something, it has a meaning as an independent brand, because when we talk, we are family owned. So I think we set three times the standard for good practice in this regard.
Amazing. There should be more people like you and more brands like Norcam.
Thank you. Thank you very much. There should be more World Cleanup Day organizations, and I think it's a good time to everybody who is part of the World Cleanup Day, the teams, the supporters, the helpers, the volunteers. Huge thank you as a fan, following since 2018 this community, but today also, of course, as a proud partner. I think it's an amazing initiative, and well done for everything you do.
Let's be honest, things are pretty shitty. I know that you came here to look for good ones and get some inspiration, but let's take a minute and look at the half-empty side of this glass, because how can we ignore it? Every day, we are bombarded with images and news on the environmental crisis and the catastrophe that will follow. We see the climate changing, rainforests disappearing, oceans rising, and in the face of all that, I feel like a deer, frozen in the middle of the road, facing an incoming truck. And it makes sense, because when humans face danger, they only have 3 choices: fight, flight, or freeze. Now, the scale of this problem is so big that fighting it seems impossible. I mean, how could I fight it alone? Even if I try real hard, pick up every piece of trash on the street, use recycled products, and keep my footprint at the minimum, my actions will not make any significant difference anyway. The second option is flight. I could wait for Elon to offer me a place on the next flight to Mars. Maybe then I would have a chance. But until that happens, I'm frozen. And I think that many people are experiencing the same thing. So, are we all victims of this situation? Should we just give up and count on Elon Musk to save us all? Or is there something that we can do about it? Is there hope? Recently, I visited the European Parliament with leaders of the World Cleanup Day. They are normal citizens like you and me, but every one of them engages thousands and hundreds of thousands of volunteers in their own land. They have experience, knowledge, and ability. They have been fighting this problem for a very long time and know it from different aspects and perspectives. So if someone can give me a real and honest answer to this question, it's them.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, let's do it!
Good morning!
We are the first ones.
You are the
It's a big
first
day
one.
today.
This is Heidi Solva. She had made an impact on your life and you probably don't even know about it. She's the president of Let's Do It World, which is one of the fastest growing civil movements on the planet. They are active in more than 150 countries, working on environmental and social problems. Their biggest and most famous campaign is the World Cleanup Day. And today, we are going to launch this year's event on the European Parliament.
We are a great collaboration platform for 164 countries in the world. We can show to the world it's not important what is your background, where you're coming from. When we have the same environment and we're living at the same planet, we can act all together, right?
Now that is really interesting, and I'll tell you why. Let's Do It World is a bottom-up organization. That means that every member participates in the process of leading the organization. And when you want to connect so many people, that is definitely the way to go.
I think the difference that we can make together, this small group of people, is actually huge. We're much bigger than the sum of our parts. We all represent a network ourselves of individuals and organizations, and that's the power of this thing. It's a massive network.
There were leaders from Italy, Spain, Taiwan, Ukraine, Sweden, and many more, an international network of civilians that came together to address a global issue. Everybody needs to take care of their side, but why is it important that we meet, do you think?
First of all, it's good that we are from different countries, from different cultures, but with the same aim, with the same mission, with the same mindset. We want to change the world. We want the free plastic world. We want the better environment. So we have the common aim.
There are thousands of environmental organizations in the world, but alone they are too small to have such influence in the parliament. The thing is that in this kind of bottom-up system, everyone is represented, and therefore today, well, we are all here. This can be a story.
This can be a story. I hope it's a story. These are the political positions of Let's Do It World, and we hand out today to Roberta Metsola.
Roberta Metsola is the president of the European Parliament, and we were waiting for a meeting with her. We used the time to meet other important people, and one of these meetings made me realize something important.
Welcome into European Parliament. It's a good pleasure for me to have you here. And we will talk to our president, Roberta Metsola. She is very strange pushing the World Cleanup Day because she has 4 sons and they said, you must do more with the Parliament. And so we do more.
Did you hear that? I was expecting to meet a hardball politician, and suddenly I realized that this president that we are waiting for is actually a mother, a person that cares and probably doing everything she can in order to make a difference. But her work is limited to the political level, and politicians need us citizens in order to function.
These are the leaders of the World Cleanup Day from India, Spain.
Buenos días. 3 questions to you. First question, the role of movements like the World Cleanup Day. The second question, why they should continue. There's plenty of work to do. We have legislation in place that we are working on. And the third question is...
Dear Roberta, can you say a few words to the participants of the World Cleanup Day?
I can say more than a few words. Yeah. And my wish would be that we would not have a World Cleanup Day, but that every day we would take it upon ourselves to improve the environment. We need to do it at home, we need to tell our friends, I need to tell my children, and I need to make sure that when we meet next year, we would have brought more countries on board, more millions of people on board in order to say that I am part of this project.
See you next year, but before that I hope. Thanks.
After the interview, the president was leaving. I wasn't supposed to talk to her, but I had to ask her one thing.
Yeah, you are fast.
What gives you hope for this situation?
No, this is amazing.
The people?
The people, the ambition, the courage, everything.
So we have a chance.
It's amazing. Of course.
Great. We have a chance, but are we using it? Hope will not come from the fact that we all want the same thing. The big question here is, can we get everyone to cooperate? Is it even possible?
I know my footprint. It's good to know it because it's
it's my responsibility, but at the same time we have to take their responsibility as well, and therefore we need the politicians to set frameworks.
We are dealing now with the plastic issue on the UN level, so we made it from the European to the UN level to the global level because we know these are global problems.
What I would like to see now is how we can create these synergies, have all these different NGOs in the world that are doing exactly the same thing.
That is a big problem. It's not only about communication, so, oh, you come to us and help and so on. It's a big problem with this competition between the NGOs today.
It's true. We still have a lot of problems and a lot of things that we need to figure out. But at the end of the day, when all of us went for a small cleanup in a park near the parliament, it suddenly occurred to me that we are already well on our way. On the last World Cleanup Day, the group that I was working with gathered about 35 kilos of trash, but my team gathered almost 1.5 million tons. Why? Because my team was not only the litter picker in Berlin. In my team was every human around the world that joined that day. And that gives me hope. Now, if there's hope, there's no need to freeze. We can all shake our hands, pick up our sleeves, and join this massive network. How? Simple. The next World Cleanup Day will be held on the 16th of September. Right now, many groups all over the world are preparing and assembling, so you can just join them. If you haven't found one near you, maybe you can form one. On the description, you will find everything you need in order to get started. The main thing is that you join us and help spread this hope to other people as well. And together, we will succeed. I'd like to thank you for watching. If you believe that this episode gave you value, please press the like button so it can spread to other people as well. Don't forget to share and subscribe. And until we meet again, look for the good ones. I've met so many good ones that take care of our environment that I just had to make a playlist about it. If you want to meet great people and hear some wonderful ideas, this playlist is the place you want to go next.
Oh dear, we're in trouble now. What's the problem, officer?
I'm not an officer.
What happened? What did I do this time?
You didn't do anything. Today we are celebrating the Estonian Women's Voluntary Defense Organization's anniversary.
Nice.
And today is the day that we all wear uniform to work.
So I'm guessing you're a member of this organization.
Yes, I am.
And look at this, look at the tie. I'm looking at it on the monitor there. What is that a tie or did you...
It's a little embellishment that we wear to represent all the women who have been part of this organization, especially before the Second World War. So that blue color here actually reminds us of their service to our country as well.
That's so cool. And they have your name badge here, and then you have 3 little kind of stars. What do they represent?
So we also have youth organization for both boys and girls, and I am also a girls squad leader, so I get to wear these little 3 stars to represent that.
Round of applause for her. Come on, that's a great achievement. Thank you. What's the best part about being in the group?
The best part is it's just the friendships that you gain from all these women who are dedicated to serving their country on their free time as well.
That's cool.
So.
It does look very official though. Do you get that a lot, people when they see you going, I didn't do it?
Yes, especially today.
Explain.
Especially today. That's why I swap between my World Cleanup Day t-shirt and my uniform.
To whip people into shape.
Yes.
Try and get a bit of law and order. Let's squeeze over here. You just said into my earpiece, Mark, the director said, who is the guy? You talking about this guy? Yes, let's find out. The director just said, who's that guy? Because I don't think he's seen you yet. What is your name, my friend, and where are you from?
My name is Alan. I'm from Estonia. And today I'm volunteering here in this organization, trying to learn more about this organization and help as much as I could.
But why are you playing Tetris?
I'm looking for the news that are around the world to see what people are doing and what they are up to currently.
Because the hard part is trying to get the data of what's happening. Because people are very excited, they're in the moment, then you've got internet connection problems and...
Yeah, that happens a lot, yeah.
Okay, that's great. He's just like, yeah, exactly, whatever you said. Is this your first time involved in the World Cleanup Day?
Yes, sir.
Why? Thank you. Yes, sir. Tell me, why did you come out? What made you want to come and volunteer?
I think that's maybe somehow connected to my sphere, what I'm studying. And I think that I can learn something from around the world, what people are doing. Because today I saw the video of, I believe it was Mozambique, where they built the house out of the bottles, which I thought was incredible. And I think we need to learn from that.
Yeah. Kind of different ways of thinking.
Yeah.
And you said it was within your sphere. What is in your sphere? What are you studying?
I study architecture.
Okay.
So that's why this house was really interesting to me.
Yeah. Were you like, or were you like,
I was more like, oh. Yeah.
How does that work?
I saw that, like, how can we reuse the materials that we're already like throwing away? How can we reuse them to make an impact for the people who are like living or using them? Because I saw that they used this house for the children for the singing classes.
Yeah.
Which that's cool, I think.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, listen, Alan, get back to it. You're going to lose this game of Tetris now. I'm sorry about that. He's not playing Tetris. I'm only joking. Hello.
Hi.
How are you?
Oh, I'm very good. Fantastic, yeah.
Now, we just met, but we actually met 2 years ago. We online, not in real life, because you were representing.
Yes, it is the first time I met you in person. So I have been in.
And you're very disappointed.
Yes, but I'm very happy to meet you in person.
Give me a moment, I'm just going to cry here. But you were after coming back from the United Kingdom, where you were doing your master's.
Yes.
But which country are you from?
I'm the country leader from Vietnam.
Oh, Vietnam. Yeah. So we spoke before when I was checking in with Vietnam and your progress in Vietnam for the World Cleanup Day.
Yes, I guess it is 2 years ago.
That is awesome. How are things when it comes to waste and pollution in Vietnam?
I think that it is a global topic, not only for the other countries, but also in Vietnam. And we are trying to work on that with the waste management issues. Yeah.
Is it something that's a priority in the country, or is it something that's down the list?
It is our top priority currently.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, why is that?
Because Vietnam is, we ranked top 4 in the world regarding the waste, the plastic waste released into the sea.
Oh, no.
So that's why it is on our top list.
And what is that? Is it coming from consumers, from people? Is it coming from industry? Where is all that waste coming from? Or is it a mix of everything?
I think it is from human activities, and 80% of we have a long coastline, so that's why there's a large amount of plastic waste released into the sea.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, good seeing you in real life. I'm sorry to disappoint, but it's great to have you here with us.
Yes, I feel very happy to be here after 6 years involved with World Cleanup Day.
Round of applause. Isn't that amazing? Now, we have to go find Merle. Where is Merle? She's over here. She was right in front of me, waving at me. She's taking a little nap. Look at this. Stay where you are. No. You're nice and laid back. If she was any more laid back, she'd be completely horizontal. Can we get anything for you? Will I hold some grapes over you here? How's it been going so far?
Good. Very interesting.
Very interesting. What has been the most interesting?
Most interesting is the videos. I'm doing Zoom videos with all countries, and they are so excited. Everybody's so excited. So it's so nice to talk with them.
And when you see their excitement and their enthusiasm, where's that coming from? Is it because they're dedicated to this cause? Is it because they're all out together in a group? Where do you see the source of that?
I think both. That one is to do the things together, it's fun, and also they are very dedicated. I see that they have so many dreams and goals, and I was talking with Liberia, and they were so happy to wave me all the time, and Latvia, who was so excited to plant the trees on the border of Belarus, near the border of Belarus, with wedding couples. Yeah. Something very interesting things are going on. That's so beautiful, and we have to remember tricky geopolitical situations sometimes between these countries. So lots of different meanings behind all of these things that they're doing as well,
which is beautiful. And speaking of people who are doing the cleanups in difficult situations, we spoke to Nima earlier, who was cleaning in Iran. We spoke to some people cleaning in Palestine this year, but for the last number of years, we've been checking in with the team of Let's Do It Ukraine, who've been doing an incredible job despite what's happening in their country. And Yuli is there right now. Yuli, can you hear me?
Hello world, hello Estonia, hello Com.
How are things, Yuli? What is happening there in Ukraine and whereabouts are you at the moment? What are you doing?
So at the moment we here in central location and preparing to special cleanup with VIP guests, with Ambassador Estonia. So, and now we are in Kiev and 24 region here now cleaning our country. It is very important for us because Ukraine is the biggest Europe country, and now we have ecocide.
Be careful.
Here.
Be careful. There's a killer dog behind you.
Yeah, and we must really clean and collect all our power to something special because our ecosystem, it is our food, air, earth, water, everything. So thank you so much everyone around the world who help us balance our ecosystem because everything what you're doing better, it is helping to us.
And Yulia, what have the numbers been like this year? I know in previous years because of the war, it's been tricky to do the cleanup, to mobilise groups, to get them together, people that have other priorities. We completely understand that. So what have the numbers been like so far this year and what kind of trash have you been picking up?
So our very big idea, be in top, let's do it world movement. So we're preparing and working with this. And all administration helping, ministers and all people around country now cleaning. So maybe after registration we will have a very good number because last year it was amazing and to us joined 286,000 people around country, so maybe this year will better.
Wow, 200 and I missed that there, 280 something thousand people last year?
200, yeah.
Wow, that is incredible. So you're hoping for bigger numbers this year. And Yulia, you have been spearheading this and leading this really in a really inspiring way there in Ukraine over the last number of years. What is it that gives you such passion to support this cause yourself personally?
Personally for me, because it's my country, it's my place where I live and I want to live in clean planet. So it's very important for me, my health, for my family, for our team, and for you, of course.
Let's get a big wave from the guys behind you and a big cheer from our Let's Do It Ukraine group. There they all are with their Ukrainian flags and colours, looking beautiful. Hey, that's great, guys. Yulia, keep up the incredible work that you do, and thank you so much for everything and for checking in with us here on the World Cleanup Day show.
Yeah, thank you.
All the best.
See
Bye,
you.
Yulia. Bye, Ukraine. And before we goodbye, they're shouting goodbye. That's incredible. That's beautiful. And we know that they're incredible numbers, 280-something thousand last year. Well, we are continuing to follow the wave. And before we take a look at the map and see what countries have cleaned so far, we have a few more images to bring you from the very important cleanup in a very important country, Ukraine.
Сміти. Побачив? Прибери.
Приєднуйтесь до Всесвітнього дня прибирання Let's Do It Ukraine.
Дбаєш про себе? Подбай про країну.
В Україні екокатастрофа. В Україні екоцид щодня, і наше довкілля потребує участі кожного. 30% країни заміновано, 30% лісів знищено або пошкоджено, вода забруднена після Каховської катастрофи, Чорнобильська зона на простої. В нас щодня літають ракети, які забруднюють токсичними речовинами нашу землю. Дуже багато сміттєзвалищ є.
Я думаю, що не тільки зараз на часі, а взагалі жити екологічно і чисто – це підтримувати життя нашої планети. Всім цим ми користуємося. Нічого не хочемо робити для її відновлення. Багато хто просто на це плює, і люди, коли йдуть просто там десь відпочивати, вони відпочивають, там залишають за собою сміття, там бруд якийсь, шкодять просто. Ми маємо про це говорити, ми маємо постійно про це думати і згадувати, і найосновніше робити, і говорити іншим, що це потрібно.
Постійно, коли ходжу в магазин, я ходжу з торбою спеціальною, в яку збираю товари. Я не купую ці поліетиленові пакети, а я роблю це постійно з однією ємкістю, в якій я ношу. Також я сортую сміття, вже теж до цього дійшов нарешті. Я вважаю, що ми зараз кожен має єднатися і долучатися до екоініціатив для того, щоб зробити нашу планету чистою, для того, щоб дбати про нашу Україну, дбати взагалі про наш світ.
Тому що чиста країна – це країна майбутнього наших дітей. Важливо починати з себе. Якщо кожна людина буде свідомо відноситись до природи, відповідно, наше майбутнє, воно буде чисте і екологічне. Знаєте, потрібно починати з найменшого. Викидати сміття в спеціально відведені місця, урни. Сортуванням, на жаль, в Україні наразі проблема, хоч є окремі станції, але подекуди сміття вивозиться в одне те саме місце і, на жаль, це дуже прикро.
Жити екологічно відповідально завжди на часі. Вибачте, ми цю планету, ми на неї прийшли. І ми чим довше живемо, ми тим більше її засираємо і засираємо. Вибачте, якщо коли мені було там 5 років, був один рівень загріженості планети, то коли мені буде 55, це буде зовсім інший рівень загріженості планети. 55 – жити в смітнику, жити в болоті і жити в багнюці. Тому якось треба до цього свідомо ставитися. І сподіваюся, що люди теж будуть ставитися якось адекватно. Хоча, мені здається, адекватності серед людей зараз годі шукати. Просвітницька робота – це дуже корисно. І це правильно, і до когось достукаєшся. Але достукатися можна тільки до тих людей, які хочуть почути. А люди, які не слухають, працює метод кнута і пряника. І пряник, на жаль, спрацьовує в цьому питанні менше, аніж кнут. Тому тут потрібні жорсткі санкції за те, що людина порушує якісь такі звичайні, прості правила. Це, знаєте, як все починається з маленького. Спочатку можна прибрати в квартирі, можна прибрати в під'їзді, можна створити ОСББ, прибрати ділянку. Чому що заважає, тоді разом об'єднатися і якось прибрати, щоб у будинку на території біля вашого помешкання було чисто.
Потрібно ростити нове покоління, яке вчити більш свідомо, навчати його культурі, екології, щоб дбали про довкілля. На сьогоднішній день не готовий я сказати, чи змінила, чи не змінила, але впевнений, що якщо ми будемо розвивати цю культуру, то обов'язково змінить.
Наша Україна, як ніколи, потребує участі кожного українця, кожного громадянина, який тут і зараз може, перше, не смітити, побачити і прибрати. Друге, мотивувати інших своїми вчинками, робити те саме, користуватись багаторазовим упакуванням і здавати на переробку, користуючись національною мапою пунктів прийому вторинної сировини recyclingpoints.org. Кожна екозвичка, вона дуже важлива, тому що коли її роблять мільйони, це якісно впливає на екосвіт. Приєднуйтесь до Всесвітнього дня прибирання. Let's do it, Ukraine!
Старайтеся сортувати сміття, викидати сміття, також прибирати за собою.
Зробимо, друзі, з вами Україну чистою разом. Приєднуйтеся до нас, до Let's do it, Ukraine!
20 вересня приєднуйся до Всесвітнього дня прибирання.
Робимо Україну чистою разом!
Інструкції та реєстрація на сайті letsdoitukraine.org.
Beautiful images there and great community spirit in Ukraine at such a pivotal time for their country. Well, before we wrap up this part of the World Cleanup Day show, we still have our last broadcast to come in around an hour's time. Let's take a look at the map and see how the green wave has been progressing right across the world. The countries that you see full of colour are the ones that have been cleaning or have fully cleaned already, like Australia. The guys are finished there. Kazakhstan, they're wrapped up too. But as you can see in Europe and in Africa, the cleaning is going on now as we speak. Here in Central Europe, it is 20 to 4 in the afternoon. And then soon we'll be joining with our countries over on the West, and we'll be talking to people in Latin America, in the United States and in Canada to find out how their cleanups are going. That'll be later on in the day. Thank you for staying with us over the past number of hours. We've been broadcasting here from Tallinn since 6 a.m. this morning. And we're now on the final leg of the journey together, my friends. We're going to take a little break here from our broadcast, but join us again in around 20 minutes or so as we finish our broadcasting here on the World Cleanup Day 2024.